Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at 5 mysterious videos that I found around the internet. From creepy people to strange creatures, each video seems to capture a creepy encounter of some kind with something unknown. There are some interesting clips in this one, so let's get started. Part of owning livestock is and has always been being aware of the threat of predators. Typically, the predators you might think of vary from foxes or wolves to even alligators, depending on what part of the world you're in. But stories have long circulated of a strange creature with abnormal behavior when it attacks livestock. This creature has allegedly been spotted from the northern US all the way down into many countries in South America. It will usually prey on goats, hence why it has earned the name of the goat sucker, or better known under the alias of the chupacabra. Instead of tearing apart the carcass of the animal, these creatures are known to only suck the blood out of its victims, as only a vampire would do. Though they exist in many stories, has there ever been tangible evidence that proves the chupacabra's existence? Recently, a strange video emerged from somewhere in South America that shows a group of men trying to get something off of one of their goats that is clinging to the bottom of it. Take a look.
Pongan atención a lo que tiene esa cabra de ahí, agarrado en el cuello. Pongan atención a eso. Miren lo que le están quitando a ellos de encima. Pongan atención. Vean. Vean. Ahí, mírenlo. ¿Qué es eso que tiene guindado aquí? Y miren ahora, miren lo que pasa cuando se le quita de eso. Vean, ellos ahí en ese punto se le desmonta, llamémoslo de esa forma, y miren para dónde coge. Mírenlo, ahí va, véanlo. Ahí, mírenlo ahí.
Physical descriptions of this creature range from having a dog-like appearance to having a more reptilian or alien-like appearance. If this creature is in fact the legendary chupacabra, it definitely falls more into the latter description. It's a little difficult to make out in the first portion of the video as it's clinging to the goat, but the strange part is when it almost seems to slither away like a snake, though at the same time almost having the appearance of black smoke or some kind of dark spirit. It's a very odd sight indeed. So what do you make of this encounter? Is it some normal creature just behaving in a strange way? Or is it something else? While alone in or around a highly wooded area, especially at night, most people tend to freak themselves out by thinking that they hear something that's not there, or believe that they can sense something following them from behind. Usually this is nothing more than the imagination running wild, but what if something took place where it wasn't? On November 12th of this year, a woman named Carol Leanne, who lives in Oregon, saw something very strange while driving at night with her husband that seemed to be watching them from behind a tree. But what is it?
What'd you see?
What the frick is that?
What? It's behind that tree.
Niana, what is that?
What appears to be a mysterious black creature can be seen peeking out from behind the tree that they have their headlights on. and they are both clearly confused and terrified. But what are we looking at? Many theories have been passed around, from it being a bear to Bigfoot, or even just a person in a hoodie. One theory in particular is very interesting, however, and that is the theory that it's actually something known as the hide-behind. The hide-behind has been spoken of in American folklore since the early 1900s, and it's basically a nocturnal creature that preys upon humans that wander the woods. As its name suggests, it's said to be able to conceal itself quickly behind a tree or other object when the observer tries to look directly at it. Its victims are then dragged back to its lair where they are devoured, though the hide-behind will typically only want to eat their intestines. Obviously, no sound evidence has ever been shown to confirm these stories, though they are very creepy nonetheless. So is it possible that Carol and her husband had an encounter with this entity from old American folklore? Or is it a more explainable encounter with a known animal or a human? You decide. It's always scary to think about how quickly a normal situation could become terrifying in a matter of seconds. In this next video, some men were driving along a road with large wooded areas spanning off on both sides when they noticed a very strange man standing in the distance near some trees. Instead of speaking, he only seems to be able to make loud grunting sounds before he begins to move towards their vehicle in a very odd way.
How you doing? Oh, just some cruisers, man. That's crazy shit. It's crawling at me like a damn. What's up, dude?
The men are clearly disturbed and luckily are able to make it out of there before the strange man makes it to their vehicle. But what exactly did they encounter? Most people speculate that it's nothing more than a man with some sort of disability or who is under the influence of some kind of substance and clearly needs help. But some believe his movements to be much too strange to even be human. Is it possible that this man is possessed, and that what we're seeing here is whatever demon or entity that has a hold of him is causing him to behave and move in this way? Or is it even stranger of an explanation than that? In Native American folklore, tales of skinwalkers have long been shared. One version of these creatures are known to prey on humans by mimicking either the sound or appearance of a person, though still having something off about them, a clear and obvious sign that whatever it isn't human despite its appearance. Though this man looks human, his actions and movements are absolutely bizarre, as his body almost seems to break and contort as he crawls towards the vehicle. So what's happening here? Is this nothing more than a man who needs help? Or is it something a little more strange and sinister? An increasingly common occurrence that takes place in rural areas in Mexico is that of encountering strange old women, presumably witches. Many videos have circulated the internet and many stories have been shared of personal experiences, but does that make them all true? Are the women that are being run into truly witches? There's no real way to tell, but each case is unnerving nonetheless. This next video was allegedly taken by a man who either works security for or owns the crop that this video takes place at. He can be heard yelling at someone hiding in the tall stalks before they slowly emerge into view. No visible features can be seen other than black clothing and long black hair that covers her face.
Ahí está. Sal de ahí. Aunque me eches a correr, voy a regresar. Aunque le hayas hecho eso a mi troca, voy a regresar. Ahí está, miren, ahí está. Sal de ahí. Hija de tu pinche. Cabrona. Estás fea, mendiga. Mira, ahí viene Jesucristo atrás de ti. Mira, mira, mira.
Though the fear in his voice sounds genuine, and his reaction to run is one that most people would have, does that make this clip authentic? It would be very easy to stage something like this with the sole purpose of gaining views, but it may not be such an easy explanation. Mexico has a rich history of witchcraft that dates back hundreds of years, so it's not such a far-fetched idea that it's still being practiced today by these women that are being encountered. Still, as to the matter of whether this specific video is a real case of this or not, I'll leave it to you to decide for yourself. How would you react to the noises of a baby screaming from within an abandoned structure in the middle of the woods? While out hiking in a quiet and secluded area in Elkmont, Tennessee, a man named Billy Miller came across an abandoned house all by itself in the woods. He films his experience as he approaches the home, while very odd noises of what sound like a crying baby can be heard coming from somewhere inside. Now, the most obvious explanation here is that these sounds are of nothing more than a bobcat or mountain lion, which could be a terrifying situation on its own. But some viewers aren't quite convinced, as the crying sounds identical to a child in distress. So if it really isn't as simple of an explanation as just noises coming from a feline of some sort in the woods, then what could it be? Some believe it to be paranormal in nature, perhaps a ghost of a child crying for a parent, left alone to haunt the home that it lived in during life. This would be a heartbreaking scenario if true, though there are also some other more terrifying possibilities for what this may be. Could this be another case of a skinwalker trying to draw Miller in to find a helpless child, only to reveal itself when he went looking? Could there be squatters living in the abandoned home, unable to keep the baby quiet from Miller? Any and all scenarios here present an immediate level of danger to Miller, whether it be the possibility of being mauled by a mountain lion, taken by a skinwalker, or even attacked by a homeless person trying to protect their child. Let's hope that he made the decision to leave right after he took the video and made a safe exit from the situation. He seems to be okay as he continues to actively post on his TikTok account. If you're curious to see the original video, the link to his page will be in the description below.